Chapter 9. The Seed is Sown.
Healer Ardis ordered the wounded be carried to her hut. They would not all fit within, so those with only minor injuries leaned against the outside walls. Darved and 3 other serious cases occupied beds inside. Jabo ordered Sulon out of the hut. "You are too close to this man, Sulon. He may have the skills and knowledge of a woman and has just helped us win a glorious victory, but he is still a balded man. I'll not have you fawning over him all day and night." Sulon dared not speak against her chief, so she nodded as Jabo continued. "Take young Lisa and head back down the valley. Check the condition of other villages. Make sure no more sisterhood are on their way." Sulon took a last look at Darved, laying prone inside the healer hut, and then turned on her heel to find Lisa. The adoptee of the tribe had taken charge of the younger children up at the cave. She was now ushering them out and making sure those with wounded mothers were cared for by their slaves. "Lisa!" Sulon called out. "Get the little one sorted, then come with me." Sulon pushed her way through the jungle undergrowth, this time the senior of the expedition. Her young charge kept easy pace behind her, but did not keep quiet. "Didn't you want to stay with your new manslave?" Lisa asked. "You seem to be almost in love with him." Sulon turned on her heels and grabbed Lisa by the shoulders, her nose an inch from the girl's. "I only love my mosh with all my heart, and how could I love a man? That's crazy talk." She paused for a while, regretting the tight grip she had on Lisa. She loosened her hold. "Darved is just different, that's all. He's clever and I don't know, he's caring. Shit, I can't explain it." "He talks so well. Perhaps he could explain it better, eh?" Lisa, even at her age, knew when the mood needed lightning. "Ha! Yeah, he could," Sulon laughed. She turned and continued the slow trudge through the sodden foliage. A trail of death and destruction greeted them as they moved down the valley. No village had escaped the matron's wrath. None had stood and fought like Jabo's tribe. Most had surrendered, allowing their slaves to be slaughtered by the righteous sword of the sisterhood. Those women who had tried to defend their men had joined them on the steaming piles of bodies. Tribal leaders were busy counting their losses and preparing the dead for burial. Lisa's own tribe had fared the worst, being closest to the river and the market. They had a lot of men among their numbers, used as trading currency, and competent fishermen. Men were a valuable part of the thriving community in the lowlands. The sisterhood had exacted a terrible toll in retribution. Sulon could not hold Lisa back as she ran sobbing to hug her own mother's body in the wet mud. With no further sign of sisterhood attack squads, the two spent the night in Lisa's village, Sulon letting the girl come to terms with her loss and spreading the word of Jabo's victory. It was small consolation to the decimated tribe, but as she retold the story with pride, she detected a reciprocal feeling of thanks and rebellious camaraderie among her fellow valley dwellers. After a meager breakfast of bread and porridge, Lisa patted down the last clot of earth on her mother's grave, and they set off back up to the highlands, this time with survivors in tow. A ragtag band of worn and wounded women grew in numbers as the journey progressed. Without discussion, the convoy had placed Lisa at its front. The following night saw her once again emerge into the tribelands of Chief Jabo. "You're back!" Mosh shouted from guard duty and rushed past little Lisa to embrace Sulon in a bear hug. "Easy there, tiger. You'll knock me over," Sulon laughed. "How's Darved? Did he survive the night?" "Yep, sure did. Although he might not survive another if he doesn't keep his stupid man-mouth shut," she reported. "He keeps ranting on about how we can have better defenses around the village. Even tried getting out of bed to draw up his plans. If he's not careful, he'll wake up with no balls." "And that might be a blessed relief, to be honest, my love," Mosh continued. "I was getting kinda jealous of those dangly bits of his." She punched Sulon on the arm, not without some force, and the two followed the shambling line of newcomers up to the high cave. It surprised Sulon to see Darved among the gathered tribeswomen, his midriff wrapped in soft flax and the color returning to his cheeks already. Healer Aldous was by his side, ready to administer any aid required. This was a meeting he hadn't wanted to miss. Jabo rose from her log and adopted her usual forthright stance, her breast a beacon of leadership that demanded everyone's attention. "A great battle has been won. Not great in numbers, but great in meaning. We won't be told how to live our lives." She let that sink in. "The losses suffered by our womenfolk in the lower tribes convinces me that this valley needs uniting, lest there be a return of this so-called sisterhood, or any other threat. I propose," she boomed out over the crowd, "to lead a united valley, to build up our defenses, improve our communications, and make sure the next group of cocksuckers that arrive thinking they can tell us what to do," she brandished her club and growled, "are sent home in pieces before a single one of us falls." She had to wait several moments for the cheers to subside. "And now," she grinned from ear to ear, I have an announcement to make." A hush fell over the crowd. "Our new cedar has proved his worth in bed as well as the battlefield," she crowed. "I am with child!" Among the renewed shouting, cheering, and revelry, Sown made her way over to David and patted him on the back. "Well done, you little fucker," she laughed. "Thank the mother for that," he replied. "Come with me, quick!" Sown grabbed him by the hand, and despite the menacing stare of Aldous, led him away from the party to her hut. "What are we doing?" Darv asked, bemused, and trying to keep up without opening his belly wound. "I want some nice hard cock while Mosh isn't looking, and while there's still time." "Eh? What do you mean, while there's still time?" Darvid felt a chilly dread descend over him. "Well, with the chief now seated, and the breeders likely seated too, those fruitful balls of yours will have to go. Jabba will be ordering Aldous to chop them off soon, I'm sure." "Oh shit!" was all Darvid could manage as they reached Sown's hut. Inside, she threw off her rabbit skin and knelt on the bed, presenting Darvid with a fine view of her bare ass, low lips nestled between round buttocks. A tight, smoother, and much more appealing target than the one presented by Jabbo or the breeders for his compulsory seating duty. Arousal overtook his thoughts of the impeding blade slicing through his scrotum. He dismissed the notion of running headlong into the jungle. How could he do that when he was being offered the cutest cunt in the village? After all, he was only a man. The end.